The Knicks take on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight in what could be considered a playoff rematch. And before these type of matchups, the media will go out and they'll talk to certain players and they'll ask them about matchups. And when they did this with Tristan Thompson and they asked him potentially about Josh Hart, he absolutely hated the comparison. We're going to see exactly what he said and break down that report. We're also going to talk about RJ Barrett because a report came out potentially looking at if he could be injured right now. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of any of the new content. And now, let's get started. Tristan Thompson apparently hates the comparison to Josh Hart. We're going to take a look at exactly what he said in this following clip, but you got to understand, Tristan, they're going to ask you about Josh Hart because unfortunately, Josh Hart is the New York Knicks backup power forward. And I believe you're the backup power forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So because of that, you're going to get these questions. Roll the clip on exactly how Thompson felt when he was asked about this matchup.
Just like me and Josh Hart?
Yeah, like just Josh.
Me and Josh Hart similarity top of Cleveland? Yeah. So use Pat Beverly as a comparison. Yeah. Me and Josh Hart rebounding as no. It's like a filet and sirloin steak. But he's very good offensive rebounding for a guard. I will say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But comparing him to a big is kind of like, damn, I guess I'm not rebounding enough. But no, he's a really good offensive rebounder. He's a glue guy for them. You know, if you notice what these Villanova guys, when they get drafted, they're very mature. They know how to play. You know, Jay Wright's done a good job down there with that program. Kind of guys come in developed, and he's doing that for them, making plays, whether it's making corner three, grab rebounds, guard the best player. So, you know, Josh Hart's a really good player.
He may have complimented him at the end there, but you saw the way the video started and what he said. It's like comparing a filet to a sirloin steak. He's a big and Josh Hart is a guard, so it makes no sense to compare the two. Unless you're the New York Knicks and feel that you can play Josh Hart at the backup power forward position, thus creating the environment for this question to be asked. He hated that comparison. He absolutely hated it. Did you see his face initially when they asked the question? He was extremely annoyed and did not like it at all. He does not like the fact that him as a big should be compared on the boards, especially the offensive boards, with Josh Hart, who he admitted was a great offensive rebounder and a great rebounder in general for a guard. But when you go to big territory, it gets a little bit disrespectful. At least that's how I interpreted it from him, because I took it that he felt a little disrespected to be compared to a guard in terms of the offensive rebounding, because he's a big. That's what he's supposed to do. And if you're saying that, could you compare him and a guard in Josh Hart in terms of rebounding, even offensive rebounds? It's a little bit disrespectful for him. So I can understand why he said that. Now, I do want to say, Josh Hart rebounds better than a lot of bigs as well too. So to his credit, Josh Hart doesn't only do it with guards. Even though he's one of the best rebounders for guards, he can out-rebound bigs on a nightly basis as well too, especially if he's given the minutes. To Tristan Thompson's point, Josh Hart is more of an everything guy for the Knicks. He's a glue guy. He does everything that they need him to do. Hustle, make plays, get rebounds, make the right pass, make the right read, go coast to coast. He can do it. So he recognizes the fact that Josh Hart's a talent, and he also recognizes the fact that the Villanova boys are talented as well too. So he gives credit to everybody coming out of Villanova. He did give him a shout out, but that initial reaction was definitely hate. He did not like that comparison. And as a big, and I guess if I was a big in the NBA and somebody was trying to compare myself as a big to a smaller player in terms of what we do better and something that I'm known to do good at in terms of rebound the ball well, if you're trying to compare one of my better skill sets for a player that's a couple of inches smaller than me and who's a guard, I might feel a little bit disrespected and might have a similar response. But The filet to steak comparison for me was hilarious because it shows you and tells you in his mind he's here and Josh Hart is here, and to compare the two makes no sense at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Thompson's response here. Do you think it's warranted, or do you think that Josh Hart actually rebounds better than him so he has no right to say anything? Let me know in the comments because I really would like to know what you guys have to say about this situation. RJ Barrett apparently tweaked his knee. Now for me, this was a little bit of a shock because RJ Barrett has looked like the best player on the Knicks for the entire last few games. So to hear that he potentially could have been injured or is dealing with an injury or playing through an injury is definitely alarming, and I was concerned when I read it. So let's go to Stefan Bondi from the New York Post, who reported this first. According to Steph Bondi from the New York Post, he states that Barrett's knee, which he tweaked in the opener against Boston, has been a small issue. According to Tom Thibodeau, Barrett is day-to-day, whatever. But I think something at this point kind of everybody in the league is going through the same thing. Back-to-backs, all that playing and stuff, you just gotta be mentally tough through it. Shout out to Steph Bondi for giving us this following report because I had no idea that Barrett was dealing with any type of knee issues at all. It was a little bit concerning, but hearing Tom Thibodeau basically say he's day-to-day and he should be fine is making me feel a little bit better about it, but you never want to hear, especially a player like RJ Barrett, who looks like he's ascending right now, deal with any type of injury because this could derail the type of season that he's looking like he's going to have. So you don't want to see him go through any of that. But on the other hand, he's looked really, really good even though he's playing through that tweaked knee. So what if he was healthier? What if he was fully healthy? Could RJ Barrett be playing here when really he has another level to play that's here and we haven't seen it yet because he hasn't been healthy enough to show it to us yet? That's something I've been thinking about as well too. So this actually made me a little bit more curious and interested to see the RJ Barrett that we're going to see throughout the season, especially as he gets healthier. RJ Barrett has been one of the best players on the New York Knicks for these last few games. You can't even argue that point with me. So to think that he could have another level and showcase us more of his game and what he can do makes me happy and makes me excited. Though I don't want to see any player on the Knicks deal with any type of injury, especially RJ Barrett. I hope he can overcome it. I hope he can play through it. And I hope he can get better from it very soon so he can be part of this Knicks team as we continue to go through this season. Because without RJ Barrett, the Knicks are going to have a hard time winning games. So we're going to need RJ 100% to join this Knicks team and play with this team so we can secure the victory against Cleveland and any NBA team we face on a given night. But what about you guys? Were you just as shocked about this RJ Barrett report as I was? Let me know in the comments below because I want to hear your thoughts about RJ Barrett's injury. If you think he should play through it or if you think he should wait till he's 100% before he gets back on the floor for the New York Knicks. Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave a comment below. But of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.